The dream is alive. The dream is not dead. Holy smokes. We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We love everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this. If you want to support the true college football rebel outpost, and this most definitely is, if you want to support the home for the college football sickos with a donation to help us keep the lights on, hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is Monday, August 18th. And you know what day that is? Week 0 predictions. Greg the Gold versus the PATC family Einsteins. And we know where this is heading. We know where this is going. Everything is coming up beautiful. Everything is coming up beautiful. I'm going to share with all you A moment of absolute brilliance. Week 0 predictions. Oh, we got news. Oh, we got news. Don't worry about that, baby. We got news. And it's all coming up roses here at PATC. Greg the Gold. We're doing 3 games. 3 week 0 games. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going 3-0, baby. 3-0 against the spread. All 3 games are 5-star Break the Gold locks. Easy peasy. It can't get any easier. Armageddon, Kansas State, Iowa State. Kansas versus Fresno State. Hawaii versus Stanford. 3-0, baby. 3-0. Now, maybe you Einsteins. Now, you Einsteins are going to pick first. Week 0, you all going to pick first. So you're not going to be able to copy my picks because I know that is what you're going to do. Last year, there were plenty of weeks where you all strategize. Let's vote against whatever Greg picks. Now, for the most part, it worked out for all of you Einsteins. But this year, it's going to be a little different. This year, it's going to be a lot different. Because last year.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you
fading away, baby. Greg the Kula is going bye.
But I've been too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
No pain in 2025. We are going to do a roll call here real quick. We've got some super chats. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. Thank you very much. I know we've been all waiting for August 18th because this is college football week. We've been talking a lot of college football during the off season, and it's all going to pay off. It has to pay off. Statistically, it's impossible for it not to pay off. There's no way I can repeat. There's no way that Greg the Cooler is going to show up 4 straight years. Holy smokes. Look at that monster. Wow. We've got a very large, unbelievably large. I do not know what the hell that is. Something very large is crawling up the wall. Oh my goodness. Anyways, holy smokes. Anyways, what was I saying? There's no way I'm going to go four straight years with their winning percentage that it's so incredibly low. It is not to be, I should not even say it in public. I don't know what that was. And that thing is gigantic. I hate rap music. Okay, well, I'm not a great fan of rap music. But every week when it's Greg the Gold, you're not going to be hearing that music. Every week when I come back with a winning percentage against the spread, you're not going to hear that awful music. That's what I'm trying to explain to you all. Now, maybe there's going to be 1 week, possibly 2 weeks, where I come back with a losing winning percentage against the spread. And we're going to have to hear that music. But y'all not going to have to worry about it. You're not going to have to worry about it because Greg the Gold is here. Greg the Gold is here, so don't worry about it. I appreciate you all coming on in. We've got a show for you. First of all, let's go through the very kind super chats. Carrie Gold knows, Greg, you have to start at the bottom to earn that gold back. We're going to earn it starting right now. Starting today. No more hype talk. No more. You are going to see it all happen. Today, you're going to see the brilliance of Greg the Gold, and hopefully you all follow along. But I'm guessing the Einsteins and the PATC family are just too stubborn to listen to Greg the Gold. Thank you, Carrie Gold Knows. Thank you so much for your generosity once again. I very much appreciate it. Ricky Tungate with the 5 gift memberships. Holy smokes. Ricky Tungate, 5 gifted memberships. Lou Inc., Dustin Flaneur, Big at Rail, PJ, Alex Jackards, and Rob Allen. All of you are gifted a membership by the incredible generosity of Ricky Tungate, Mr. Hoosier. Once again, when you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Ricky in the chat room for his incredible kindness. Ricky, thank you so much for all your support of our program in the weeks and months and the last couple of years. I appreciate it, Ricky. I'm very humbled by all your support. All of you are officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. You're members of our program. You can go to our library of programs and watch all the episodes, including the member-only episodes, Early Peak, Cloak and Dagger. We dropped episode 455 today, an episode that you all can watch. It has to do with the playoff format. It has to do with the CBS reporting of today. Well, jolly gee whiz, guys. It sounds like the Southeastern Conference has been talking about what the Big Ten has been talking. The SEC is doing the same thing as the Big Ten. They're looking at all these large playoff formats, which of course are going to include automatic qualifiers. The SEC and the Big Ten have been talking with each other. In fact, according to CBS report, there has been mixed reaction among the Big 12 and the ACC. There is some support for these larger models with the AQ. And some Southeastern Conference athletic directors are on board with some sort of model. They're trying to figure out the sweet spot, right, with their media partner, ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut to the chase. There is more reporting on this. There is more detailed reporting on this. What is going on here in the discussions? The Athletic just put out a report before we came on live. I had to change everything. We have more details. It is more clear what the Big Ten and the SEC and the other conferences are looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, the SEC and the Big Ten are doing the same thing. It's the reporting of what the SEC and the Big Ten are doing is completely different. Completely different. But both conferences, they're talking with each other. They have different ideas. But in essence, everybody's looking at the larger AQ models. Larger than 16. Why is that? Why is that? Because they want to get the ACC and the Big 12 on board. They don't want to have to ram something down anybody's throat. They want everybody on board. They want everybody to benefit from the AQ model. And 16 doesn't work. It just doesn't work. As I've been saying, holy smokes, that is a large whatever. What I've been saying for months. Everybody's talking. Everybody is trying to figure this out. And I think some form, some fashion, it's going to happen. As long as it is economically viable, as long as the money is there, the value is there. And of course, we're going to be heading into larger conferences, more imbalanced schedules. But forget all that. Forget everything. And forget about that. There is more details. And we're going to wait till after we make our picks. There is more details on what this playoffs would look like. I want to thank everybody who's been sending me their ideas in our PATC email. Once again, it's flugempire@gmail.com. Send me your ideas on the playoff format. Also send me clips, your favorite clips of the show over the last 3 years. We are trying to put together a montage of the favorite moments of this show. We're going to try to do something different to start off our live shows every single day. It's a project. We're not going to finish this thing up anytime soon, but I want your input on your favorite clips, your favorite moments. I've received some ideas. I've received some clips. Keep sending them. If you are somebody with a whole lot of experience and you are very creative with the music, with the video and all that, if you want to take part in creating our montage at the beginning of our show, let me know. Let me know in our email, and I would be happy to pay you, happy to bring you on to the team. So just let me know. We're trying to change them. We're trying to advance this show a little bit during the 2025 season. So anyways, we're talking about an email, flugempire@gmail.com. I'm not talking about my X account. I'm talking about an actual email. Boy, I really need to do something with this monster that's in the studio. Holy smokes. Okay. But yeah, there is more details. And I can't wait to get to it. Because I can't wait to see you guys' reaction. I cannot wait. So let's go through our picks and let's go through more details of what this 24 playoffs would look like. Because I'm going to be asking the Big 12 and the ACC fans that are in the chat room. I'm going to be asking you one simple question. Isn't this what you want? Isn't this what you actually want? That's my question. But again, we'll go through the details after we make our picks. Let's go through the roll call. And then we're going to make our picks against the spread. And then we are going to go in. We're only going to cover a little bit of the Athletic article that just came out before we came on live. The Almighty's in the house. Mr. Monkey says, Adam is here. Jason Spangler, Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, L. Woody, the dog, the Georgia Bulldog is here. Thank you, Evil Badger 72. Evil Badger, Ryan Willie. Greg, stay away from my Miami of Ohio versus Wisconsin game. We're not making that pick today. That is a week 1 game. We're doing 3 week 0 games. I cannot promise we're going to stay away from that game. But if we do include that game in our predictions, Ryan Willie, you're going to want to hope, you're going to want to pray that I take the Badgers over Miami of Ohio because if I do, it's a lock. I'm guessing right now, not official, but I'm guessing we're not going to take that game in week 1 because there are plenty of week 1 games that are big time. We've got a lot of great games in week 1. So I'm not ruling it out, but I think the chances are against that we're going to have that game among the 10, 11, 12. Jeez. Guys, I'm going to have to go to war. Did you see that thing? Did you see that thing? Did you see that thing? That thing almost went in my mouth. I think I would have died if it went in my mouth. I got a big mouth. Wow. I don't have any heat. Is this this is a bad omen, isn't it? We're about to do our picks. This is not good. This is not good. That thing is a monster. I don't even know what it is. Okay, I got my chalkboard thing here. We're getting ready for the if this thing comes over here again, it's dead. It's absolutely dead. It's absolutely dead. It's a praying mantis. I don't know what that is. Somebody clip that. Yeah, go ahead and clip it. Send it to my email. It could be part of the monologue. It could be part of the montage. The montage. That could be a hornet. It is giant. I don't think it got in my mouth. I'm not sure. Okay, let's go, guys. We got to focus now. Good Lord. We've been waiting for this moment for many, many months. And now we are being attacked. Hopefully it's not an omen. God, we're in trouble. Anyways, if you are new to the show, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Are you ready? Are you ready? PATC Einsteins. Are you ready? Iowa State Kansas State. Wildcats are favored by 3.5 points in Dublin, Ireland. Einsteins, you're going to vote. I'm going to give you plenty of time to vote. Kansas State favored by 3.5. Taking Kansas State, giving 3.5 points over Iowa State. Yes, you're taking the Wildcats. No, you're taking the Cyclones. Yes, Kansas State minus 3.5. No, you're taking Iowa State. You're getting plus 3.5. The voting begins now. The voting begins now. It is. Woo! Look at that voting. Holy smokes. It is tight. It is close. After 42 votes, it can still go either way. Five more seconds on the voting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kansas State, 55% of the vote. 55% of the vote. The PATC family Einsteins, the Einsteins, take the Kansas State Wildcats. Closer, I guess. I thought Kansas State was going to take it a little bit more in the polling. Kansas State, 55%. Holy smokes. Kansas, Fresno State. This is the second of third games. Second of the 3 games. The Jayhawks are favored by 12.5. 12.5. Taking Kansas minus 12.5 over Fresno State. If you vote yes, you're taking Kansas and you're giving 12.5. If you vote no, you want the Fresno State Bulldogs plus 12.5. The voting begins now. Again, closer than I thought. Close vote. Could go either way. Kansas minus 12.5. These are the lines on FanDuel, and these are the lines that were put out this morning. And I put it out on my X account that these were the official lines that we were going to use. So any of you think this is a grand conspiracy and the line has moved a half a point either way within the last 6-8 hours, again, I put it out on X. These are the official lines we're using for the first 3 games, week 0. 5 more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 55% takes Kansas. So again, 55% of the voters took Kansas State. 55% of the voters took Kansas. Week 0 games against Iowa State and Fresno State. Now for the 3rd game. And then Greg the Gold is taking over. Greg the Gold is taking over. Stanford at Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors are favored by 1.5. Taking Hawaii minus 1.5 points over Stanford. If you vote yes, you're taking Hawaii and you got to give 1.5. If you vote no, you want Stanford plus 1.5. The voting begins now. Not as close as the first 2 games. Going to give you 5 more seconds to vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the majority says no, 61%, 58%. I'm going to put 61%. Take Stanford. The PATC Einsteins have taken Stanford. I don't know if I'm surprised at that or not. I really don't know. Okay. So, the PATC family took Kansas State, Kansas, and Stanford for their week 0 predictions. Greg the Gold predictions. Book it. Mark it down. Iowa State, Kansas State. Now, I made it no secret. There are 2 games that I've made no secret that what I'm doing. I'm going to take Kansas State to cover the spread. I'm going to take Florida State to cover the spread against Alabama. I think Kansas State's going to be ready. I think they're going to be... I think they're going to have an awfully good team, and I think they're going to be ready in week 0. Not to say that Iowa State ain't going to be ready, but Iowa State's got more pieces to fill, in my opinion, when it comes to the puzzle. You know, they lost that great wide receiver room. Rocco Becht, I think he's got a higher floor than Avery Johnson, but I think Avery Johnson's got a higher ceiling. I have made that pretty apparent when I talk about these quarterbacks. If you've noticed, I've got Kansas State knocking on the door to get to the Big 12 championship game, them and Baylor. And Iowa State, I do not. So, where am I here? So, Kansas State, I think, wins this game by about 10 points. I think they're going to have a very impressive outing in Dublin, Ireland. I think Avery Johnson is going to shine. He's going to elevate. He's going to elevate. He's going to get to the next level. Kansas State covers this game. They win by 10. Iowa State, Dublin, Ireland. And we're going to be having a watch party on this game. Watch party beginning at 11:30 in the morning Eastern Time, 10:30 Central Time on August 23rd, this Saturday. So buckle up, have some fun. Have some fun. The insect is hanging upside down on the ceiling behind you. Well, I don't know what's going to happen to me. That thing is a monster. I'm going to have to try to get to it later. Anyways, Kansas State minus 3.5. So, the first game, we agree. PATC and Greg, the goal. Fresno State at Kansas. Now, there's a lot of interesting parts of this game. The most interesting part of this game is the new head coach of Fresno State, Matt Entz, former head coach of the North Dakota State Bison, an incredibly successful coach. And I don't know, he's going to go to Fresno State and he is going to turn that program into a North Dakota State Bison twins brother. He's going to do the same thing at Fresno State. He is going to load up on the running game. He's going to load up on the linemen. He is going to recruit in the Midwest for his linemen. I think Fresno State is going to be in for a world of change. Now, there's a lot of things that football program has to do as they move into the new PAC conference next year. One of the things that Fresno State has to do is work on their facilities, especially that crumbling football stadium. They got some plans out there. But they've got to get to it to help the recruiting out there. But Fresno State, new coach. I think it's going to be E.J. Warner, the transfer, the legendary Hall of Fame quarterback son. E.J. Warren is going to be the quarterback one. Bryson Donaldson was a big emerging running back at the end of last season. They're going to run that ball with the new head coach. Now the question is Kansas. The Kansas Jayhawks. Leipold. Second year without the great offensive coordinator that went to Penn State, Kotelnicki. You got Jalen Daniels, who's finally healthy. The Kansas Jayhawks, I think, are going to go back to a running game, just like they had with Devin Neal, great running back who's no longer there. The Kansas Jayhawks minus 12.5, Fresno State 12.5. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a rock fight. And I think Fresno State is going to cover. I've got Kansas winning this game by 10 points. Late field goal by the Jayhawks makes it a 7-point to a 10-point victory. Fresno State covers. It's going to be a physical fight. But the Jayhawks win their first game in their new stadium. But the Fresno State Bulldogs cover. So I got the Fresno State Bulldogs in game 2 of our picks. Game 3. Now I'm a little surprised. I got to be honest. I'm shocked. I'm shook that you all picked Stanford. I was hoping the Einsteins and the PATC family were going to improve this year because you guys have been as bad as I have been. But it doesn't look like you are going to improve. It doesn't look like you are going to improve at all. Mika Aliado, the quarterback of Hawaii, 5'10", 5'9" maybe. Go watch his game at the end of last season. The very last game that Hawaii Rainbow Warriors played, go watch what he did. They finally put the true freshman into the football game. And the Hawaiian Doug Flutie went out there and threw for 469 yards. The lefty, the Doug Flutie lefty, brought the Rainbow Warriors to a victory. They're going to score against Stanford. They're going to score. Now, Stanford's going to have some running success. Mika Ford, the quarterback, Elijah Brown, the running back, is probably going to have a really good game. But Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are just going to outscore Stanford. Mika Aliado is going to rock and roll, and Hawaii is going to cover, and it's going to be like another 10-point victory. -1.5, that ain't nothing, Jack. That ain't nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, that concludes our predictions for week 0. Again, the PATC Einsteins, I'm talking to you all. You got Kansas State, Kansas, Stanford. I've got Kansas State, Fresno State, and Hawaii. So we already disagree in 2 of the 3 games. I thought we were going to disagree on 1 game. I figured you all take Kansas State, Kansas, and Hawaii. So I thought we would only disagree on the Kansas-Fresno State game, which is, I think, is going to be a rock fight. I'm shocked that you guys took Stanford. I'm going to be, look, there probably ain't going to be any more games that Stanford is going to be a part of our prediction. They've got an interim head coach, Frank Reich. It's tough to play under an interim head coach. It's very difficult. Stanford is going to have a very difficult time. Very difficult time. Okay. KU will run it up. We'll run. KU run will set up the pass, and it will be a laugher. Vox Quindaro says, Greg the Gold, Greg the Cooler, whatever. You are going to be wrong once again. John Uzi says, I agree on Greg with Kansas State and Hawaii. Jason, I don't know why you are spamming the board. Why are you spamming the board? Greg, did any Minnesota players get drafted this year? Jason, I don't know how to tell you this, but there are only 9 programs in all of college football that has had a player drafted in the first or second round in the last 6 years. Out of those 9 football programs, 8 of them are Blue Bloods, and the other one is the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So you're climbing up the wrong tree. You're climbing up the absolute wrong tree. Jason Spangler. Holy smokes. The Gophers. Okay. Yikes. Did anyone from Minnesota even get drafted? Just Google. Jason, use the Google machine. Help yourself out a little bit. My goodness. Some people don't follow college football, but that's okay. You can be part of the PATC family. Kerry Gold knows, Greg, us picking first is an advantage, Greg. We will rotate it. I will pick first next week. Thank you, Kerry Gold knows, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I will pick next week. Now listen. A lot of you even, and I know he's on the edge. He's definitely on the edge. He just spams the board. Jason is on the edge. And look, Big 12 ACC fans, you want to win it on the field, right? You want to win it on the field. You want to win it on the field. Okay, here we go. We're getting more clarity on what the Big Ten is looking at. And I got to tell you, it's what the SEC is looking at as well. Maybe not exactly, but the SEC is looking at these larger playoff formats, and they've got their reasons, because they want to have more of their teams go in the playoffs, exposure, money, and they're going to expand their conference, and the SEC's got their reasons. This is from The Athletic an hour before we came on live. With the Big Ten's idea losing traction, the 4-4-2-2-1-3, it is dead. It's been dead. We at Peek Around the Corner announced it dead. We put the stake through the heart. It's dead, 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 dead. Tony Petitti, it's dead. The conference has begun floating the new idea. The playing games would be played between other conferences. There would still be automatic bids, such as the 2018 field, with 7 each for the SEC and the Big Ten, 5 each for the ACC and the Big 12, 2 for the group of 5, and a couple of large bids. Then there would be first round games of SEC versus Big Ten, or SEC versus ACC, etc., etc., etc. And that is why the title screen says interconference playing games. SEC versus Big Ten versus ACC, ACC versus Big 12, Big 12 versus SEC, SEC versus ACC, ACC versus Big Ten. Let's go! Let's go already! Isn't this what you all want? The Big Ten sucks. The Big Ten is horrible. The SEC, they're just overrated stiffs. Come on, let's do this thing. Interconference playing games. Big 12, you can wipe the Big Ten off. ACC, you can crush the SEC. Let's go. This is competition, baby. This is competition. Think about it. Think about it. And now everyone's turning off their phone, their TV sets, their iPads. Think about it. You're in a conference race. We got to finish in 5th here in the Big 12. We get to play in a playing game. You're gonna know before the season. Okay, this spot plays this spot in the SEC or the Big Ten. Let's go. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, again, Greg, the SEC's got more spots and the Big Ten's got more spots. Yeah. That's how it's going to end up. For now, that's how it's going to end up. They've got the power. They get more distribution money, and the media is going to want more of the Big Ten and SEC teams in because they get more eyeballs. That is reality. It's just like when somebody says, Greg, if you want FCS, then then all 10 champions, conference champions should get in and then have 14 of the other play-ins. If you did that, the money would drop significantly. ESPN and the media partners would not offer the money, the value that it's even worth doing to go on that big. If you're going to grow this playoffs, you also want to grow the value. And I'm not sitting here going, the Sun Belt should get one, the Conference USA. The reason that they don't get as much as the Big 12 and the ACC is because they just don't carry the value. That's just the blunt truth of it. Now, it could change. This gives all the opportunity in the world for the Big 12 to kick the ACC's butt, to kick the SEC's butt, to kick the Big Ten's butt. This gives all the opportunity in the world for the ACC to kick the SEC's butt, the Big Ten's butt, the Big 12's butt. This gives all the opportunity in the world for the SEC to say, we're still the big boys here. The Big Ten's gotten a little lucky the last couple of years, but we're going to squash them. Doesn't everybody know that the 6th place Big Ten team would get throttled against whatever SEC team we put up against them? No, the SEC is like, okay, bring it on. Bring it on. And then the Big Ten, this is what the Big Ten wants. Big Ten, this is what you want, right? You want competition, right? You want the conference races to mean more than ever, right? And of course, we're not in these models, we're not eliminating the non-conference games because we want non-conference games to mean something. Just in case you don't quite get in the playing game, or you lose, whatever. I don't know, guys. I mean, and now look, I would not go to 28. I'd go to 20. But then with 20, you only have I don't, at this point, give me a number and I'm going to go with it. Whatever this is, whatever it ends up being. And again, put down your comments. Let me know in a phone call. Let me know how wrong I got it. But whatever it is, it's going to absolutely blow away a 5 plus 11. A 5 plus 11 absolutely blows. It absolutely blows. It's horrific. Now, I know a lot of you love it, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree. However, this is, we talked about that. Heartbreak 25 thoughts and Phil Knight's donating $2 billion in university. Or we talked about that in the last live show. It's fantastic. Talked about how incredibly important that is to fund the research. These research universities, they're finding new things every day to battle cancer. They really are. When it comes to taking care or finding solutions. Yep. Thank you, Heartbreak25, for the super chat, for your generosity once again. We talked about that in the last live show. Very important. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Heartbreak25, and thank you, Phil Knight and his family. Great Disney Adventures, thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it. Evo Badger, John Kurtz has been ripping the Big Ten for introducing their CFP plan. Well, I did not listen to John Kurtz. John Kurtz is a very smart guy, does a great job on his YouTube channel. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. First of all, the Big Ten did not introduce their college football plan. It was leaked. By the way, the SEC, their ideas have been leaked. But only the Big Ten gets mocked. That's the problem I have. That's the only problem I have. I'm not having a problem with people disagreeing with the Big Ten or with the SEC. I completely disagree with the Big 12's position. But what I'm having a hard time with is the unbelievable hypocrisy of it all. The SEC is doing what the Big Ten's doing, ladies and gentlemen. They're talking about these ideas. It's been reported now over and over, 3 different outlets. The Athletic, everywhere. It's being reported. The SEC's having the same bloody discussions. Large playoff models and, of course, the AQ models. The SEC and the Big Ten have talked with each other. Let me thank you for the $5 holler. I appreciate it, Evil Badger. Appreciate it so very much. Let me show you guys something here. I have not shown this yet. Well, I did on an episode that I did earlier today. Okay? Right here. I mean, go ahead and rip the Big Ten. But if you're going to rip the Big Ten, you better be spending time ripping the SEC. If not, well, then you're just being a hypocrite. Sources within the Big Ten emphasize that Petitti's 2018 designs remain in their infancy and are not ready to be formally presented. It's just an idea. They're being ripped on an idea, ladies and gentlemen. Southeastern Conference athletic directors even discussed similar ideas at spring meetings in June, though nothing formal emerged. There was enough conversation about it that filtered into conversations between the league offices. So again, this is not like isolated in the Big Ten Conference, as I said yesterday. But all these, I'm telling you, man, these reporters have only mocked the Big Ten. They want to keep, I don't know, they want to keep their access to Greg Sankey. You can have it. I don't need it. I don't bloody need it. If I'm going to rip on the Big Ten and the SEC is doing the same damn thing, guess what? I'm going to rip on the Big Ten and the SEC. I'm not going to keep it. There is, I better not go where I want to go. But again, be consistent. Don't be a tribal hack. If you don't like the idea, then rip on the idea. If you don't like the idea that Big Ten's even talking about it, go ahead. But then you got to rip on the SEC. You got to. Or if you don't, you're just being a hypocrite. Several Southeastern Conference athletic directors surveyed by CBS Sports on Sunday were receptive to the Big Ten's pitch. Reaction was also mixed in the ACC and the Big 12. There are people for it in the Big 12, guys. There are. They are. They want to get to they want to know what they need to do. They want to get playoff access. They want the exposure. They want a home game, a playoff home game in their stadium. The Big 12 doesn't want this 5+11 and the Southeastern Conference staying at 8 conference games. I don't know, but that is, I mean, it's, I like it. An ACC athletic director told CBS Sports, we need to continue to evolve. Here's another thing. Here's another thing. AQ model. Let's say it's 20. Don't matter what number you put up there. 20, 22, 24. Let's go with 24. Nobody's going to care how many conference games the Southeastern Conference plays. Nobody's going to care. They can play 6 against each other. If they don't want to play each other because they rather play Mercer in a 3-game series, go ahead. They can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want right now, but the problem is we're not going to a 5+11 if the SEC stays at 8 conference games. But if we go to an AQ model, SEC, you do whatever you damn well want to do. Because that's not going to affect the conference races in the Big 12 and the Big 10 when they're playing 9 conference games. Also, one more thing that's really important here. I've read a lot of great pieces on this, a lot of opinions that I disagree with, but they're written out logically. I read On3 Andy Staples' opinion saying that we cannot let the 2018 playoffs infect us any longer. They need to cut this off at the path. I tend to agree with them somewhat in that I would like an 18 and 20 team playoff for now. But I find a continuous problem with the reporting of the playoff format that continues on and on and on and on and on. I have a general disagreement with a lot of college football reporters when it comes to the next 4 years. Most college football reporters believe that there are going to be no realignment changes until 2029, when the Big Ten is in the midst of their next media rights negotiations. I happen to think there's a very good chance it happens before that. And then the Big Ten is going to be ripe, even more ripe with leverage, and the SEC, and when they go into the negotiations. So what I'm trying to say is, when people are looking at these numbers, when the playoff numbers, they're looking at what is going on right now. What the current number of memberships are in the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC. I happen to think before the end of this playoff contract runs out, which is 2030-31, these numbers in these conferences are going to change. When the SEC in the springtime was thinking about a very large AQ models, when they were kicking it around and they were not getting mocked, they're still not getting mocked, they do not get mocked. But when they're kicking around these ideas, when they're having these conversations with the Big Ten, that's been reported, the SEC is not looking at a conference of 16 teams. That's why they're looking for a larger playoff format. So keep that in mind. In my strongly held opinion, this is college football's peak around the corner. I cannot get caught in my own silo. You guys remember, I love the 12-team playoffs. I finally got what I wanted. But things are going to change once again. And I think they want to institute the change in the playoff format, the P2, before the end of the within this college football contract. It's one of the reasons I believe the Big Ten and the SEC fought to get the control over the college football format up until 2031. So that's another reason. OPD Don, does anybody know what the 32-team breakdown is? I do not know. It's not going to be 5. I don't think it's going to be 527. Opie, I don't think so. Come on. It can't be. Now, to be fair, to be honest, there's been no reporting of that, of what the SEC, but it's got to be with a lot of AQs. Remember yesterday's reporting in the Athletic, Opie. Yesterday's reporting, it said that the hang-up that the Southeastern Conference had with the initial AQ model that Petitti actually did present is the SEC's like, well, the Big Ten's playing against the Big Ten in these play-in games. We would like to play the Big Ten in these play-in games. So, what has Tony Petitti done? They're starting to talk about ideas, about a larger playoff format, AQ. Just talking about it. They just had a few ideas. They're not ready to present it. They're having discussions with the SEC, and now that format is going to ACC and Big 12 country. There's mixed reaction, not all negative, not all positive. And what is embedded in this large AQ playoff format? What is embedded? Interconference play-in games. This is what the Southeastern Conference wants. Right? Right? And again, what is it about this that the Big 12 would not want? What is about this that the ACC would not want? What is it? It's only because It's only because it's not quite equal in the teams coming from the conference to go to these, the AQs at 7-7-5-5. I tell you what, man. I don't know how to say this, but the Southeastern Conference has a whole lot of power. That's the reality. And you're not supporting a 7-7-5-5 or 6-6-4-4. You're not supporting that. You want the 5+11 still? Have you noticed? Did you see the FPI? Did you see what Danny Cannell talked about in that one website? They've already changed the FPI ranking. I didn't even do a show on it because I was so pissed. I figured I would lose all of you guys and gals. They screwed Clemson's and Miami's FPI ratings since the last time they had it update over what? Over nothing. But Clemson and Miami ratings dropped and the SEC teams went higher over what? Why is there so much trust and compassion and empathy towards up this playoff committee? Why are you giving them more power? Why is propaganda, it would be 5+11 propaganda is going to be 3 times worse than 5+7 was last year. And that's where people want to go still? If you do, we're going to have to agree to disagree, and I respect your opinion. I do. I respect your opinion. There's a very good chance whatever college football playoff format they rest on, they decide on, might not be exactly what I want. But there is one thing I'm going to battle over with everybody and anybody, and that is everybody's talking. Everybody's bringing up ideas. The SEC's been doing this since spring. The Big Ten is saying, okay, the SEC won into conference, playing games, okay. They're all talking about it. And for the media to call out the Big Ten and mock them for 24 hours straight, I'm not talking about mocking the idea. I'm talking about mocking the Big Ten. One report is saying they got to pull the plug out of the wall and put it back in, and all these jokes, they're all slapping each other on the back, one right after the other. And the fact of the matter is the SEC is doing the same damn thing the Big Ten is, but only one conference gets mocked. And I called it out yesterday. I'm calling it out today. I don't think what the Big Ten has proposed, I don't want it that big. But whatever. Sometimes you got to start high to go a little bit lower. But I don't think bringing up ideas is embarrassing at all. I think what embarrassing is sitting here and believing that we all want more power in the committee selection committee's hands. And if we just tweak the metrics, everything's going to be just fine. I think that's embarrassing. And anytime the Big Ten speaks now, anytime they say a word, you got Paul Feinbaum and Dan Wenzel. I could go through all the names. I could go through all the YouTube channels. But for whatever reason, they just can't report the SEC in the same manner. Well, thank God the fat guy from Minnesota can rip on Silent Tony and Greg Sankey and Brett Yormark and Phillips and everybody in between, even my beloved Golden Gophers. A lot of these guys, they are one-note Charlies. One-note Charlies. Not here, not at Peek Around the Corner. Okay, we're going to get to your phone calls. We are going to get to your comments. Christopher Hooter, if there is a 28, 32, etc., several playing teams are not even in the top 25. If you're not good enough for the top 25, what are we doing? Thank you, Christopher. I think some people would agree with you. Absolutely. I think some people would agree with you. It may be too big. 28 and 32. I think it is. But we shall see. Thank you, Christopher Hood. Appreciate your $5 holler and everything you've done for this program. I've gotten a lot of people's emails. The ideas have been fantastic. I think we're getting more clarity on the reporting today from The Athletic. For those who have just joined us, the Big Ten has heard the SEC. The playing games would be played between other conferences. Other conferences. SEC versus Big Ten. SEC versus ACC, etc., etc., etc. Thank you, Christopher Hood. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. Greg, you watch too much ESPN. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. We are not the media, Greg. You're absolutely correct, MBM. You are PATC Einsteins. You are PATC Einsteins that went 1 and 2 on your selections against the spread. After week 0, Mr. Cowboy, Greg the Gold's going to be 3-0, and the Einsteins are going to be 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Mr. Monkey says 4-4-4-4. AQ problem solved. Cranky Tiger. It's a rope-a-dope. Proposed the absurd 28 model, so going to 16 doesn't sound so terrible. Don't fall for it. They haven't really proposed the 2018 model. It's an idea that they're talking about. The SEC talked about a 32-team model. I don't think anything really has been proposed. I don't think anything has been proposed. Caden's Daddy-O, there's no such thing as an interconference playing game. Be honest, it's a playoff game. You win, you advance, you lose, you are eliminated. That's a playoff. True? Samantha, you are correct on that. No question about it. No question about it. Have some cheeseburger with your wine. You know what? I don't drink wine. I've been known to have a couple beers once in a while. I do not drink wine. I cannot. I like it, but I can't handle it. I get a headache. No matter what I do, no matter how much cheese and crackers I eat with my wine, I will get a headache. Ryan Thomas wants the December Bowls to be retired. Ryan Thomas facilitating conversations is a good thing, folks. Five plus 7 works great. Yes, it does, Cranky Tiger. I think it's good. I think it's good. Here's the problem, Cranky Tiger. Here's the problem. And I'm going to bring it close to you, Cranky Tiger. I'm going to bring it close to you. Clemson wants to get to a P2. The P2 wants Clemson. The P2 ain't going to be expanding unless the college football playoffs expand. So I don't know how much more close to home I can get it for the Clemson Tiger fans. So 5 plus 7 is not going to keep working when a couple of P2 conferences go to 20 or more teams. When the Big 12 goes to 20 teams. That's why the 5 plus 7 won't work. I love it. It's what I've wanted. It's what I've wanted. But the economics of consolidation, the economics of playoffs, driving a larger playoffs, driving more interest in the regular season, It's worked in the NBA. It's worked in the MLB. It's worked in the NFL. That's why it's going to change. Julian Sayin is the next great Buckeyes quarterback. You know what? Did I have that ready? No, I don't. Shoot. That was supposed to be one of my... Julian Sayin has been named quarterback QB1 for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So it's going to be Sayin versus Arch Manning in week 1. Texas Longhorns and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I forget how to pronounce his name. Jaron... Hold on a second. Hold on. I forgot how to pronounce the guy's name. Give me a moment. Oh, what am I doing? Where am I? I do not believe we have heard who has won the quarterback battle for Notre Dame, Kenny Minchey or C.J. Carr. We're waiting on that news. Where is this thing? Oh, dear. Jaron Sagapolitelli. I think that's how you pronounce it. Jaron Sagapolitelli has won the QB1 for California. Devin Brown, the transfer from Ohio State, did not win the job. And Devin Brown was the chalk favorite at the beginning of spring camp. There was reports in the last couple of weeks out of Berkeley that Devin Brown has been struggling mightily with the passing game. So Jaron Sagapolitelli has won the starting job. I think he's a redshirt freshman. And Jelly is QB1 for the Syracuse Orange. That was announced today or yesterday. I think it was announced today. Steven Angeli, the starting quarterback for the Syracuse Orange. I love Angeli. I've been talking about Angeli since the start of this YouTube channel. I watched his high school tape about 4 years ago out in New Jersey, I believe. I thought he was going to become Notre Dame's QB1 at some point. Even though he was a high 3-star, I thought Steve Angeli was going to become the Irish QB1. They brought in Sam Hartman. Okay, Angeli had to wait. Then they brought in Riley Leonard. Angeli had to come in and save Notre Dame really in that playoff game. He looked fantastic. And then C.J. Carr was supposed to be QB1 this year. Angeli transfers, and now C.J. Carr is in a battle with Kenny Minchey. I think Angeli's going to surprise a lot of people in the ACC. Just like Kyle McCord played very good for Fran Brown last year, I think Steve Angeli is going to be pretty good for the Syracuse Orange this year. Let me see if I've caught up with all the super chats. I think I have. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Okay, we are going to open up the phone lines. Open up the phone lines. You guys are sick and tired of listening to me. 763-260-1333. Give me a call, 763-260-1333. And again, you know, even with this inter-conference playing games, I really don't know what it would look like, though. Would it be automatic that a sixth place SEC team would play a third place Big 12 team? Would they have that already scheduled up in the playoff bracket? Or would the play-in games just randomly go against each other based upon the straight seeding? Like, I really don't know how that would work.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger is on the line. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I know that, being a Big Ten fan, the Big Ten fans are getting a lot of heat for what the someone leaked from the Big Ten. But honestly, I think it helps the ACC and Big 12 if they go to this format. Honestly, an AQ format would be more beneficial than a large format after the conference championship conference winners get their spots. But
yeah, I'm
I just don't understand why all these people and all these Big 12 and ACC fans are just they're being like ESPN zombies. They're just following what ESPN says.
I'm wondering, I kind of, so in these plans, it sounds like that they want to have 2 rounds of games on campus. That's what the SEC's interested in. That's what the Big Ten's interested in. So that is why I think that number 24 is so appealing to these people that are talking about this. Because 24 teams, you would have the top 8 teams, which who knows, maybe they have it set up. I don't know how they're going to do it, guys. We don't know if this is even going to, right? There's a lot to work out here. Who knows what's going to happen? But what if they did the top 2 teams in the ACC, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, they all get a bye. Those 8 teams get a bye. They don't play a championship game. But they're designated Big 10 champion, Big 10 runner-up, ACC champion, ACC runner-up, Big 12 champion, Big 12 runner-up. Okay, so those 8 teams get a first-round bye. Then what happens is you got the other 16 teams, and somehow, some way, eight of those 16 teams get a first-round home game. Okay? And then after that first round, then now you have 16 teams left, and now the top 8 seeded teams will get their home game in the playoffs. That is why I think the 24 number is kind of potent right now in the discussions, is because it gets the ability of 16 different teams having that first round college football playoffs. What the athletic directors and presidents have recognized from last year is the economic impact of the community, of the campus, of the program that is having that first round home game. They want to expand that dramatically. Another reason why this large playoff model is being at least discussed, idea, so that is why I think another reason why it's being talked about. I think it's going to take Ryan Willie. I think, I actually think some people really believe in the 5+11. They really believe in that. They want a computer. They want to go back to the time where a computer decides it. I prefer conference races. I prefer conference games. I prefer knowing what is going on in each conference and keeping an eye. I think a whole lot more teams, a whole lot more games. I think that there's going to be a whole lot more interest. But that's my opinion. Other people have other opinions. But go ahead, sir.
Well, I'm a couple years younger than you, and I believe you can't turn back time, even though some of us would like to. But I had the 777-71111 format to appease the G6, G7, whatever you want to call it, from not suing the playoff committee for leaving them out. Personally, I don't think would bring anything to the playoff except for an easy win for somebody. I don't get why people are so, against the Big Ten right now.
What well, I don't want to put my tinfoil hat on, but since that's the only hat that fits my head. By the way, we are in the process of purchasing a gold hat, because the aftermath of week 0, you are going to see Greg the Gold in front of your television screen, your phone, your iPad. Greg the Gold is going to be appearing once I go at least 2-1 in week 0 games. So keep your eye on that. There's going to be a gold hat.
You mean after the PATC community goes 2-0, you go 0-3?
Huh? I'm not going 0-3. I'm going 3-0.
Okay.
All right.
For the record, for Armageddon, I picked Iowa State.
You're going to take
Or
Iowa
Kansas State.
Okay. All right. What about Kansas?
I want
Fresno
to
State?
I want the kids community for that, but well, that's all I had for you, Greg.
Okay, I got a question for you. What is the line on Wisconsin, Miami of Ohio?
A touchdown.
Huh?
A touchdown, or
Only a touchdown?
I think it might be 10 points.
Okay. Hold on.
I think it might be 10 points.
Okay, let me check here. I don't mean to bore you. Just give me a second here. Look, I'm looking for Evo Badgers. God, this doesn't make any sense. Does anybody have the Evo Badgers line? Oh, here we go. Wisconsin's favored by 17.5. Holy smokes. That's too many points, sir.
I just hope they win. I don't care about the points.
You got it.
I just want them to win.
Yep.
And I honestly am afraid that they might be upset.
Well, they better not be, because if they lose that game, there's not really a whole lot of other games that they could possibly win. So they got to win that game. That is a must-win for your beloved Evo Badgers.
Well, okay, so here's my prediction for the Badgers this year: either 3-9 or 4-8. So hopefully win the first 2 games easily. The Maryland game, and at the very end of the season, the Minnesota game.
Okay. All right, man. Evo Badger, I appreciate your phone call, sir.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Football is finally here. PATC so ready. Don Scruggs, Georgia Bulldogs. I'm not getting a gold grill. I ain't doing that. You guys don't even like my rap music. You don't like my singing. You don't like my dancing. You don't like my picks. And you guys like cheeseburgers. I mean, my goodness. Opie, 24 more funds for Greg the Gold's outfit and $1 more for an A cube. Thank you for the incredible super chat, Opie, once again. Thank you for all of your generosity, helping us keep the lights on. I'm very humbled by your kindness. Thank you, Opie. And I'm more impressed with your. You are a very witty gentleman. I think you probably know that. Yeah. So now the little general is in charge of what is going to happen with Greg the Gold. So she's got her job. And she's put in the order. She put the order in before we went live. And it's going to get here before either the aftermath show of late Saturday night or Sunday. I think it's going to be Sunday. I don't know, actually. I don't know what we're going to... But whatever. When Greg the Gold appears... I did not do anything. That phone call went on its own. Look. The little general is doing her job. She's getting the gold. My job is to actually have a winning week. And now the pressure's on, because if I don't have a winning week in week 0, week 1, week 2, the little general is going to be saying, what the hell is going on? Because that's what happened last year. I mean, I didn't have a winning week until like the week 8 of the season. That can't happen in 2025. For my mental health.
Call from
Tristan 5.
For my marriage, Tristan 5, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Well, listen, this expanded playoff idea came as a bit of a shock. I thought they were going to stop it at 16. Sounds
they
like
They might. They
might, but
but go ahead.
I wanted to float these numbers by you and get some feedback. So, you know how we're comparing college athletics and saying that, college football is starting to turn into the NFL or NFL Light or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So, get this. Currently in the NFL, there's 32 franchises, and the current NFL playoff model has 14 teams making the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
That's 44%, approximately. Now, if we have 16 Big 12, 16 ACC, 16 SEC, and 18 Big 10, plus Notre Dame, that's 67 schools. 44% of those 67 schools would be 29.
Wait. How many teams in the playoffs?
What, in the NFL today?
No. Repeat what you just said.
Well, so right now we have 16 teams in the Big 12, 16 in the ACC, 16 in the SEC, and then 18 in the Big 10.
Yeah.
And if you add Notre Dame to that list, you get a total of 67 schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 44% of 67 is approximately 29.
Yeah.
So this number that's being bandied about, either 28 or 32 or whatever, it's very close. They're inching it towards the same percentage of playoff spots as we currently have in the NFL. And I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if that's the sweet spot. It might be. I wouldn't complain. I'm all about the AQs. I think if they can work the AQs into 16, I'd be okay with it. But I understand the desire to have a bigger field, and I wouldn't complain if that were the case.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I'm my own personal desires is for it not to go that big. But the more I read about the motivations, I think they're all looking at nothing lower than 24, to be honest with you. And again, I bring up those first round games. I think the 24 works so good because now you're assuring that there's 16 programs that are going to get a first round game in the playoffs, and in the impact of that for your program, your community, your donors, your boosters.
Right.
So I think that is like a major driving force that's not really getting talked about. So yeah, I would like it to be 20 or 18, but 24. I mean, if it's 24, what are we looking at? If it's 24, are we looking at 6-6, 4-4, 2-2? Is that what we're looking at?
That probably sounds about right. I mean, who knows what the final number would end up being?
Yeah, 6-6, 4-4, 2-2.
Yeah, that's probably that would be very close to what they do, I'm sure. Yeah, and the other thing too, Greg, is that if there's movement from the ACC into the P2, right? So this is another consideration. If the ACC survives, and then they're going to backfill, right? So you probably will have. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this would happen, but just as an example, you might have a Tulane step into the ACC. You might have a South Florida step into the ACC. So now the actual numbers that we're talking about of schools participating at this level of the P2, or in the, I guess, what would we call the Big 12 and the ACC in this arrangement? They're not the Power 2, but they're the secondary 2. Right, so the number of schools participating is actually going to go up if there's movement from the ACC into the other two P2 conferences.
Yeah.
And so, I guess maybe a large number of playoff teams isn't so awful if that's what they're anticipating. I mean, maybe that's part of what they're anticipating in all of this, Greg. They know that X number of teams are going to leave the ACC.
Yeah, they are. They know there's more movement. I think that's part of this as well. And I think there's a great anticipation that the ACC is going to survive. Right? They're going to backfill. They're going to have exit fee money, right, to spend.
Right.
They might lose a couple to the Big 12, but then they're going to backfill. They're going to take your South Florida, you're going to take your Memphis, you're going to take your Tulane probably, and you're going to backfill, and you're going to be trying to. You'll probably be the fourth conference out of 4, and you're going to be battling for more access, more, and then you're going to hopefully win some playoff games, and the same old, right? So,
yeah, absolutely. And this goes back to one of the things that I mentioned to you a couple of years ago when we first had the Magnificent Seven story pop up, and that is that, hey, listen, the ACC, even if they lose their best brands, there's real value there. They got the network. They have an agreement for playoff access, and nature abhors a void. And if all the best schools left, someone would fill that void and emerge, right? So that could be a great opportunity for some of these smaller schools to maybe step into the ACC and take it to the next level. So I think that conference it's going to survive. I don't want to say it's going to do well, but they're going to be around. And someone's going to emerge there as a competitor, and you know what? And the other thing too, Greg, is that there might be someone who decides to stick around and say, you know what, we can compete better in this conference. There's no need for us to leave. So
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought I'd give you those numbers. I thought it was an interesting comparison how close the playoff numbers are to what the current NFL model is.
Thanks for those numbers, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Greg. Well, you keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you later.
Great call. Great call. We got breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. We got breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, PATC. Breaking news, we've got some very sad news to report. Texas Tech running back Quentin Joyner will miss the season following a knee injury sustained in Saturday's scrimmage. He had been projected to start after transferring in from USC, where he had 478 rushing yards last season. Quentin Joyner is going to miss the season. RB1 for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Holy smokes. Terrible news. Absolutely terrible news. I'm going to shut the phone lines off for a moment because we're going to cover this, and then I want to cover something else. Quentin Joyner, I talked about him. I talked about him during the spotlight when we did the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Quentin Joyner, man, he hit. Texas Tech was very wise, very smart. They used that money. You know, they got a lot of guys, right? They got Mr. Bailey, the great rusher from defensive line rusher from Stanford. They got Lee Hunter, great interior lineman from UCF. He's going to rock and roll for the Red Raiders. But the guy that, Quentin Joyner, you ask any USC Trojan, if they're in the chat room, they'll let you know, Joyner is a very skillful running back. Very talented running back. He was wanted in the portal, and the Red Raiders got him. The only problem with Quentin Joyner last season is he fumbled the ball a lot in practice. That was the reports. And then, so they didn't want to, they had Woody Marks, USC had some guys. They had a really good rushing offensive line. Quentin Joyner would have had a spectacular season last year, but Lincoln Riley didn't want to run the ball too much. He should have ran it more. But Quentin Joyner fumbled the ball in games. So USC lost trust in him. And then he goes in the portal, and now he's out for the season. As Grateful Trojan says, USC Trojan fan, Joyner is a home run hitter, man. Again, USC probably beats Minnesota if Joyner didn't fumble the ball, or if USC would have kept giving the ball to Woody Marks instead of trying to throw it. But Joyner is a player, and now he got a knee injury. So I'm hoping this is a minor setback for a major comeback for the young man. The Red Raiders, that's the thing. You spend money on these big big time players, and you're hoping it works out. And this time it didn't. But boy, that is tough news. God, the last 2 years, now it was not a bad injury, but the last 2 years, the Gophers running back, Darius Taylor, who's an absolute beast, he did not play in the first game. In his true freshman season, he carried the ball one time, but then he had to have a couple weeks off. And last season, he did not play against North Carolina in that brutal opening game loss when the Gophers missed a couple of short field goals. Darius Taylor, I've been saying it now, put him in bubble wrap. Put him in bubble wrap because he's not able to start the season healthy. He gets a soft tissue injury. Gophers, sit him. Don't practice him. He should not hit the field for the next 10 days. Put him in a bubble wrap. That's not realistic, but Quentin Joyner's out. Wow. Jansen Roberts. Looking isn't the same as pushing, though, Greg. It's how it's being presented. One conference is reportedly pushing for 28. No, they're not. That's not how it's even being reported, Mr. Roberts. I've shown you the articles. It's an idea in its infancy. The reports have said that Tony Petitti's looking at 16, 24, 28. He hasn't decided. He's talking to the SEC. No, they're not pushing. They're not pushing. They're not even ready to present the idea. It's just ideas. They're talking to the SEC. They're not pushing nothing right now. They don't even have a presentation ready. There is no difference. Sorry, Mr. Roberts. I'm going to have to disagree with you. There is no difference except in the reporting. That's the only difference. Corey 34, yeah, Quentin Joyner was a bullet when he was running. Shocked he left you guys. It's a bad idea. Okay, that good. It's a bad idea. I'm okay with that. But the SEC has ideas. And they are looking at a larger AQ model. Okay. Another thing I want to get at here. David Till's reporting. Babcock, Virginia Tech. There is a lot here. I'm just going to show you some here. Babcock, again, went to the Virginia Tech Board of Visitors. Says Virginia Tech has had internal discussions for years about a greater campus support for athletics, but we didn't quite evolve fast enough. Whit Babcock has started his presentation to the Virginia Tech Board of Visitors. This was earlier today. Resources equals success. Babcock tells the board that significant TV money is being left on the table because the four power conferences are not on the same page. Babcock says if the Hokies don't radically leap forward now, they risk falling into irrelevance. Babcock, it costs money to win. It also costs money to lose. Babcock tells the board our resources don't match our expectations. Also repeats his prediction that the Big Ten and the SEC will follow the ACC's lead on unequal revenue distribution based on success in brand powers. Citing Michigan and Texas and others, Babcock tells the board that elite academics and athletics can coexist. Babcock, I'm not mad. I'm not blaming anybody. Says a collective campus athletics effort would be powerful. Babcock to the board, I don't plan on doing this job for too many more years based on my choosing or your all's choosing. So that was some of the the board asked Babcock, what's your ask? He says to be competitive in the ACC, the Hokies need an annual budget of $200 million. estimates the 2025-26 budget to be at $144 million. So I just wanted to bring that up. That was a big news item going on today as well. Alrighty, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. Turn on those notifications. You don't know when we're coming on live next. It could be later tonight. It could be early tomorrow morning. We cover all the breaking news. So make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications and smash the like button. Today, we made our first picks against the spread week 0. Iowa State, Kansas State. The PATC family, you Einsteins, took the Kansas State Wildcats -3.5. So did Greg the Gold. We agreed on this game. We both took the Wildcats over the Cyclones in Dublin, Ireland. And again, as a reminder, we at PATC going to be doing a watch party on this game starting 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, August 23rd. So please join us. We'll watch the game together, making comments in the chat room, having a lot of fun. Kansas, Fresno State. The PATC family, you Einsteins, took the Kansas Jayhawks to cover -12.5. Yours truly, Greg the Gold, predicts Kansas is going to win by 10. And Fresno State Bulldogs are going to cover. It's going to be a rock fight. It's going to be an absolute rock fight. In the third game, the PATC family, the Einsteins, took Stanford +1.5. That really shocked me, I got to tell you. Greg the Gold took the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors -1.5 points. This is an absolute lock. This is the biggest lock on the board in week 0. Absolutely. Mika Aliado. Aliado, 6'9", 5'9", 5'8", 5'10". Who cares? Who's measuring, really? Aliado, the left-hander. The Hawaiian Doug Flutie is going to throw for over 400 yards against the Cardinal of Stanford. And the Rainbow Warriors are going to win this game by double digits. So that was our selections. And again, we covered the athletic. The playing games would be played between other conferences. That is the idea that the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about. Not just the Big Ten. Not just the Big Ten. Oh my goodness, really? Really? Grateful Trojan is becoming a genius. Grateful Trojan understands Greg the Gold. I agree with Greg with his picks. Is something wrong with me? No. Something is right with you, Grateful Trojan. Something is right for you. And again, we covered the breaking news. Quentin Joyner, knee injury, out for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, out for the season. He was going to be their RB1. I don't remember who Texas Tech Red Raiders RB2. Let me know in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room who was going to be the Texas Tech Red Raiders RB2. Who's going to have to come in and be the cowbell? Jacoby Williams. We did cover Jacoby Williams. Jacoby Williams. Not good. Not good. Okay. Thank you for joining us today. I do appreciate it. Again, subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it. And smash the like button. Make sure your notifications are turned on. This is going to be one hell of a week. We're going to be talking about week 1 football games starting tomorrow. We're not going to make our selections until next week. This week is all about week 0 when it comes to our picks. But we're going to start talking about the week 1 games in detail and covering everything in college football. I can't wait. Saturday, it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. 2025 football season being kicked off in Dublin, Ireland. Farmageddon, Iowa State Cyclones, and the Kansas State Wildcats. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.